Jetzt. Now we talking. Now we talking. Ja, Mann. Kurz gucken, wie viel Delay ich hab. Vier Sekunden. Ah, entspannt. 4 Sekunden geht fit. Also, meine Freunde, meine süßen Chicos und Chicas. Ups. Ja, ich bin live. Was geht? Was geht? Was geht? Was geht? Was geht? Das sieht alles gut aus. Hier. Komm schon, lade. Yes, 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 yes. Hier sieht auch alles gut aus. Perfekt. Dann Chat auf groß. Willkommen zu einem neuen Stream. Wir haben ein neues Spiel, ein altes Spiel, ein bekanntes Spiel, kurz damit wir auf den neuesten Stand kommen. Ich habe vor, boah, wie lange ist die Kacke her? Ich habe damals auf meinem Kanal wo ist denn das? Oh, hier habe ich den ersten Teil des Spiels gespielt. Und es war ganz cool, es war ganz funny. Und ich habe es am Anfang gar nicht gerafft. Es war ein sehr interessantes Spiel. Ich habe es am Anfang aber gar nicht gerafft. Irgendwann kam ich dann auf den Dreh, habe verstanden, um was ging, was abging. Und letztes Jahr kam der zweite Teil vom Game, das ich mir jetzt geholt habe. Das heißt, ich what's up, bro? What's up, bro? Ich gönn mir jetzt den neuen Teil vom Game. Und ich hab da Bock drauf. Gestern habe ich mir das Game geholt. Ich habe ich habe ganz kurz nur angespielt. Vielleicht ein bisschen mehr als nur kurz, aber nur ganz kurz angespielt. Und ich habe dicke Bock drauf. Und ich habe halt sowieso nichts zu tun. Ich bin auch für die Arbeit krankgeschrieben. Heißt, ich habe Zeit, ich habe nichts zu tun. Ein bisschen Magen-Darm zur Zeit. Deswegen, falls ich mitten im Stream aufstehe und mies aufs Klo muss, wisst ihr Bescheid. Bescheid. Und ja, keine Ahnung. Ich würde sagen, let's go, ne? Erstmal Zeit einstellen. Wir haben 5 PM und 21. Yalla. Sekunde mal, warte. Okay. Es kommt jetzt wahrscheinlich Stier, Digga. Ich habe halt gestern ja schon gespielt. Ich habe es kurz angetestet. Ich kann mir gut vorstellen, so wie ich dieses Spiel kenne, dass es mich jetzt drauf ansprechen wird. Yeah. Danke, dass du die Uhrzeit beide Male eingestellt hast, nachdem du das Spiel gestartet hast. Viele nehmen diesen Schritt nicht ernst. Sie belassen die Uhrzeit einfach bei 12 und lassen es gut sein. Aber du machst dir tatsächlich die Mühe, die Uhrzeit einzustellen, und das weiß ich zu schätzen. So weiß ich, dass dir diese Erfahrung wichtig ist. Du bist aufmerksam. Ich kann gar nicht wissen, ob die von dir eingestellte Uhrzeit korrekt sind. Pass auf, ich habe einen Vorschlag für dich. Da du so kooperativ warst, kannst du bei deinem nächsten Spielstart, wenn du diesen Bildschirm siehst, einfach deine Lieblingszeit einstellen. Mach nur, nimm einfach die Uhrzeit, die du willst, selbst wenn es nicht die richtige Zeit ist. Du hast es dir verdient. Alles klar, ich lasse jetzt mal weiterspielen. Also, damit wir kurz auf denselben Stand kommen. Wir kennen alle Games wie Life Strange, Undertale, was fällt mir da noch für Games ein? Ja, das sind die einzigen beiden Games, aber die mir jetzt auch schnell einfallen, die ich selbst auch gespielt habe, zum Teil so mäßig. Zum Teil zumindest. Und diese beiden Games sind halt storylastig mäßig oder storybasiert eher. Und je nachdem, was du im Verlauf des Games machst, ändert sich die Story. Und du kannst verschiedene Enden haben oder einfach Dialoge, die sich ändern oder einen ganz anderen Weg gehen als eigentlich gedacht. Weil es halt verschiedene Wege gibt. In diesem Spiel, also das Spiel spielt damit, dass es verschiedene Enden hat. Weil wir sind halt Stanley. Das merkt sich nicht dein Playthrough. Ja, aber wenn du Sachen wählst, tut es ja später sich anders auswirken. Ich meine nicht, dass sich dein Playthrough merkt, so ist es nicht gemeint. Ich meine nur Sachen, die du, wenn du halt jetzt wählst, boah, keine Ahnung, Digga, es gibt die Entscheidung von haust du den Typen jetzt oder haust du ihn nicht, tut es halt später sich auswirken auf die Story, aber nicht, dass sich dein Playthrough merkt. Aber hier zumindest, in dem Game, tut es sich auch deine Playthroughs merken wie in Undertale und halt wie in Life Strange. Sachen, die du im Spiel anders machst, tun sich auf später auswirken. Aber es ist nochmal viel komplexer auch. Sorry, dass ich jetzt falsch lag hier. Und ich glaube, wir spielen einfach mal. Und ich versuche so währenddessen ein bisschen zu lesen. Aber wenn ich es einfach so erkläre, rafft es halt auch keiner. Raff ich selbst nicht. Wah.
This is the story of a man named Stanley.
Keine Ahnung, wo Max das frage ich auch.
Stanley
Der
worked for a
Gottlose.
company in a big building where he was employee number 427. Employee number 427's job was simple. He sat at his desk in room 427.
Ich frage mich auch, wo
and he pushed
Thomas
buttons
bleibt. Der
on
meinte
the
auch, der kommt.
keyboard. Orders came to him through a monitor.
Das
at
ist
his
der
desk,
Ding. Ja,
telling
vielleicht, keine
him
Ahnung.
what buttons to push, how long to push them, and in what order. This is what employee 427 did every day of every month of every year. And although others might have considered it soul-rending, Stanley relished every moment that the orders came in, as though he had been made exactly for this job. And Stanley was happy. And then one day, something very peculiar happened.
Oder diese
Something that would
Musik.
forever change Stanley. Something he would never quite forget. He had been at his desk for nearly an hour when he realized that not one single order had arrived on the monitor for him to follow. No one had showed up to give him instructions, call a meeting, or even say hi. Never in all his years at the company had this happened, this complete isolation. Something was very clearly wrong. Shocked, frozen solid, Stanley found himself unable to move for the longest time. But as he came to his wits and regained his senses, he got up from his desk and stepped out of his office.
Für direkt in Starts Game erstmal ein Achievement bekommen. Okay. Also. Boah, ich bin hier einfach am Schreien, Digga. Wir sind hier. Wir haben unser Büro. Wir können in diesem Spiel nicht springen. Wir können in diesem Spiel nicht springen. Wir können aber crouchen und halt Sachen anklicken. Und es klingt, als würden wir auf diese Tastatur rumdrücken. Was ich ganz cool finde. Auf jeden Fall, wie ihr gerade die Story mitbekommen habt, wir sind Stanley. Müssen auf Tasten drücken. Aber wir kriegen gerade keinen Auftrag mehr. Und diese Stimme, die ihr gehört habt, ist unser Erzähler. Und wir sollen eigentlich dem Erzähler, was er sagt, halt folgenmäßig und halt unseren Shit machen, ne? Und... Sorry. Und... Das Spiel basiert dann darauf, dass du halt... Dass man halt, wenn man was anderes macht und Stanley-mäßig seine eigene Geschichte schreiben will, das Game einfach komplett durchdreht. Also es passiert ganz viel Cursed-Shit dann. Oder halt auch nicht. Dadurch, dass ich den ersten Playthrough oder schon einmal gespielt habe und das Game halt weiß, dass ich schon einmal gespielt habe, werden vielleicht ein paar Sachen anders sein. Aber einfach für den Anfang werden wir genau der Story folgen, die der Typ will. Machen genau das, was er sagt. Und danach experimentieren wir rum. Weil das wird witzig. Und man kriegt auch legit Achievements.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
Ich habe auch schon, also man bekommt ja auch Achievements, weil du auf eine fucking Tür drückst. Also so klickst, das ist richtig dumm.
Please. Are you really just doing this for the achievement? Click a door 5 times. Is that all that you think an achievement is worth? No, 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 no. I can't just give these merits away for such little effort. A measly 5 clicks. Now suppose you were to click the door 20 times. I would say that's the kind of effort that warrants recognition.
Bisschen Mauseviewsen auf die Tür. Nee, wir machen den Shit, wir machen das Achievement jetzt nicht. Wir laufen einfach weiter. Und schauen halt, wie das kommt, ne? Mit dem... Ach, cleaner. Ja. We walk in. Wir machen einfach, wir gehen da später erst hin. Weil, wie gesagt, wir folgen der Storyline. Storyline sagt, wir sollen zum Meeting Room. Den New Content können wir dann später sehen.
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
Let's go. Ich habe sehr viel Bock. Ihr glaubt gar nicht. Ich glaube, ich habe vorhin gegoogelt. Es gibt 27 verschiedene Enden, die man haben kann, glaube ich. Wir haben gerade mal 17:30 Uhr, also ich hätte dicke Bock, alle Enden durchzuhaben. Deswegen, ja, Mann. Ich würde sagen, rein da, ne?
Yet there was not a single person here either. Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his boss's office, hoping he might find an answer there.
Okay, ab zum Office, Boss, ja. Office
Coming
von
to a
unserem Boss.
staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office.
Money in the morning, money in the evening, money for breakfast, money crisp. Crisp, clean spot, würde ich sagen. Oh, was gibt's hier? Boah, meine Stimme. Ey, ganz kurz. Ich muss kurz. Wo ist meine Wasserflasche? Ah, genau, neben mir. Schluck Wasser. Kinder, trinkt immer mehr Wasser. Ja. Kein Markenname zu erkennen, zum Glück. Wer weiß, was sonst mit mir passiert. Ups, sorry, hab das Mic geschlagen.
Stepping into his manager's office, Stanley was once again stunned to discover not an indication of any human life.
Oder was ist das
Unraveled, Stanley
für
wondered in
ein
disbelief
riesiger
who
Raum, Bro?
orchestrated this. What dark secret was being held from him? What he could not have known was
Oh,
that
ich
the
kann kein
keypad
Klavier
behind the
spielen.
boss's
Wack.
desk guarded the terrible
Schwaches
truth
Game.
that his boss had been keeping from him. And so the boss had assigned it an extra secret PIN number, 2845. But of course, Stanley couldn't, yet incredibly, by simply pushing random buttons on the keypad, Stanley happened to input the correct
Hier ist
code
irgendwas.
by
Oder ist
sheer
es
luck.
einfach, weil ich
Amazing. He
hier in der
stepped into the
Nähe
newly
stehe.
opened passageway.
Ich bin confused. Auf jeden Fall, wir gehen einfach weiter. What the f... Ich sollte noch nicht hier lang gehen. Aber wir wissen auf jeden Fall jetzt, man kann da lang. Das war legit, also ich wusste nicht, dass man da lang kann. Aber gut, also ich erwarte bei diesem Spiel alles. Legit alles Mögliche. Ich traue diesem Spiel alles zu.
Descending deeper into the building, Stanley realized he felt a bit peculiar. It was a stirring of emotion in his chest, as though he felt more free to think for himself, to question the nature of his job. Why did he feel this now, when for years it had never occurred to him? This question would not go unanswered for
Ich
long.
glaube nicht, dass ich jetzt irgendwie in irgendeiner Weise mitlesen muss oder so. Ich kann wieder hoch.
Whoops. Nope. Never mind. Stanley actually got back into the elevator and went back up. Silly me. Why did Stanley do that when he knew that it would just lead back to his boss's office? Well, that's a great question. I just can't wait to find out.
Das war gerade aus Versehen. Ich wusste nicht, dass man wieder hoch kann. Dann gehen wir wieder runter, oder? Oder auch nicht. Ich kann nicht wieder runter. Ich wollte den normalen Weg laufen. Jetzt kann ich nicht mehr runter. Stark.
Here we are, Stanley. It's your boss's office. Exactly the way it was before you got onto the elevator. It's still just exactly what it is. What a decision you've made to come up here and look at the office again. This has fleshed out the plot of the story in new and fascinating ways I could have never anticipated. It's that keen eye for storytelling that you have, an incisive rapid fire of critical plot points, one after the other, weaving a rich tapestry of uncompromising narrative. Wow. I'm bolted to the edge of my seat.
Ja, ich versuche in den Cutscenes halt auch nicht zu reden, weil Untertitel sind auf Deutsch da. Leute, die Englisch können, können halt einfach zuhören, aber ich meine, meistens, wenn Untertitel da sind, liest man sie. Und ich glaube, ich habe den Typen gerade ein bisschen wütend gemacht. Wir können wieder runter, zum Glück.
Incredible. Now he's getting back into the elevator and going down again. Ladies and gentlemen, how does he keep coming up with all of this?
Jetzt gehen wir diesmal gehen wir den normalen Weg. Okay.
Surely this time Stanley will walk forward into the spooky corridor, won't he? Stanley walked straight ahead through the large door that read Mind Control Facility. The lights rose on an enormous room packed with television
So,
screens.
also ich könnte jetzt auch
What
überrascht
horrible
tun, haha,
secret did
hihi.
this place hold?
Aber das
Stanley
kennt man halt schon
thought to
vom
himself.
ersten Teil.
Did he have the strength to find out?
Und im ersten Teil habe ich auch schon das erste Ende gemacht, weil da stand ja auch meint irgendwas. Und die Leute hier werden halt alle
Now the
manipuliert.
monitors jumped to life. their
Das sind
true
alles
nature
Kameras.
revealed.
Die
Each
werden alle
bore the
hier
number
Dings.
of an employee in the
Da
building,
ist unser
Stanley's
Raum.
co-workers, the lives of
Ich kann es
so
nicht
many
genau zeigen,
individuals
aber der
reduced to images
in
on a
der Mitte,
screen, and
der hier, wo die Maus ist, guckt genau auf die Maus.
Stanley,
Genau
one of
da,
them,
der Raum.
eternally monitored
Ich
in
glaube
this
nicht, dass das so
place
funktioniert
where
wie von da
freedom meant
427.
nothing.
Je.
This mind control facility, it was too horrible to believe.
Genau.
It couldn't be true. Had Stanley really been under someone's control all this time? Was this the only reason he was happy with his boring job? That his emotions had been manipulated to accept it blindly? No. He refused to believe it. He couldn't accept it. His own life in someone else's control? Never. It was unthinkable. Wasn't it? Was it even possible? Had he truly spent his entire life utterly blind to the world? But here was the proof. The heart of the operation. Controls labeled with emotions. Happy or sad or content. Walking, eating, working. All of it monitored and commanded from this very place. And as the cold reality of his past began to sink in, Stanley decided that this machinery would never again exert its terrible power over another human life. For he would dismantle the controls once and for all.
Okay. Story sagt, wir sollen das System aufnehmen. Ich dachte kurz, das Game hat sich geschlossen. Ich dachte ganz kurz, das Game hat sich geschlossen.
Blackness and a rising chill of
Ein ansteigender Hauch
uncertainty.
von Ungewissheit.
Was it over?
War es vorbei? Ja, okay, ich brauche ehrlich nicht mitreden, aber Jux.
Yes. He had won. He had defeated the machine. Unshackled himself from someone else's command. Freedom was mere moments away. And yet, even as the immense door slowly opened, Stanley reflected on how many puzzles still lay unsolved. Where had his co-workers gone? How had he been freed from the machine's grasp? What other mysteries did this strange building hold? But as sunlight streamed into the chamber, he realized none of this mattered to him, for it was not knowledge or even power that he had been seeking, but happiness. Perhaps his goal had not been to understand, but to let go. No longer would anyone tell him where to go, what to do, or how to feel. Whatever
Stanley
life
hat
he lives, it will be his.
Freedom
And
erlangt.
that was all he needed to know. It was perhaps the only thing worth knowing. Stanley stepped through the open door. Stanley felt the cool breeze upon his skin, the feeling of liberation.
Das war's mit dem Spiel, Leute. Ich hoffe, es hat euch gefallen. Das war ein Baba-Stream. Ey, ganz ehrlich, ich muss sagen, es hat so viel Spaß. Es ging wie lange sind wir jetzt on?
Things were meant to happen. And Stanley was
23 Minuten. Boah, es war ein Baba-Stream, Leute. No joke, war ein Baba-Stream. Baba-Stream. Schlage das Spiel, führe das Stanley Parable zu Ende. Hab ich. Und wir sind wieder am Anfang. Und genau so wird es jetzt die ganze Zeit gehen. Wir machen Ende. Wir fangen wieder von neu an. Und das jetzt die ganze Zeit, bis wir alle Enden durch haben. Ich hab Bock.
all of this. Oh, please.
Es wird geil.
Are you really just doing this for the achievement? Click a door
Nun müssen wir
5
viel
times. Is that
Dialog
all that
öfter
you
mal
think an
anhören.
achievement is worth? No, no,
Was
no,
aber
no.
okay ist.
I can't just give these merits
Weil
away for
das wird
such little
witzig.
effort. A measly 5 clicks. Now suppose you were to click the door 20 times. I would say
Schnauze.
that's the kind of effort that warrants recognition.
Und das erste, was wir jetzt machen, ist in New Content reingehen.
Oh, good. You notice my sign. Yes, I have something very exciting to show you.
Kann die Tür bitte weggehen? Weil dann komme ich in den Raum. Ich will in den Raum. Ach man. Was passiert, wenn ich die sehr oft drücke? Nichts. Schade. Schade, schade. Schokolade. Oh. Tschüss. Dann schauen wir mal, was für neuen Content gibt in Ultra Delal. Kann man da theoretisch hin? New Content. Aufzug. Let's get in the Aufzug.
I've been reflecting on the Stanley Parable and about how roundly disappointing this ultra deluxe version has turned out to be. The original Stanley Parable was a landmark, and any new content for it should live up to that legacy. So forget this ultra deluxe nonsense. I say we take it one step even further. Which is why I'm very proud to announce for the first time ever, the Stanley Parable 2.
Wow. Wow. The end's never the end again.
Isn't this far superior to a measly re-release with a few minor additions? Think of all the new territory we'll cover with a fully fledged sequel. An entirely new experience, built from the ground up. Why, there are so many possibilities. It could go in so many different directions. This is what fans have truly been asking for.
Also ich könnte mir ehrlich gesagt sogar vorstellen, dass die Entwickler damit einfach legit einen zweiten Teil anteasen oder teasen halt. Weil das Ding ist, wir haben halt legit genau dasselbe Spiel so. Mit halt neuen Enden, mit neuen Endings. Aber so ein zweiter Teil, wo so komplett neu ist, wäre schon krass.
Is just so much catchier than Ultra Deluxe, don't you think?
Ja,
Ultra
Mann.
Deluxe? What does it even mean? But the Stanley Parable 2, now that's an artistic statement right
Wow.
there. It's future-oriented. It screams progress and innovation and long-term franchising potential.
Du, zwei. Du, das, zwei. Investor Showcase. Sieht aber voll wild aus. Also sorry, das sieht voll geil aus. So richtig Büro-Shit-mäßig. So Studio-Shit-mäßig. Kommt dann Set. Wow, wie die Tür sogar so auf richtig krass automatisch aufgeht. Oha, wow. Rich hier. Oha, Crackbook Air. Ich versuche halt legit alles anzuklicken, obwohl da nichts zum Anklicken ist. New Content is out. New Content Part 2 ist in. Old plus busted. New hotness. Sheesh. Boring section of the chart. Cool red section of the chart. Ja, Mann. Der Bag. 2 doors. More TSP. Better TSP. Win-win. Paradigmic Shift, bla bla bla, Brick in Mortal, ja genau, okay. Oh, Brain, Pflanzen sind jetzt halt auch einfach 2. Alles einfach 2. Oder so. Das. Behindert, Digga. Also no joke. So Baba-mäßig. Okay, also alle anderen Türen.
Now, to be clear, I haven't quite nailed down what exactly the Stanley Parable 2 is going to be, but let's take a look at some of the features I've been developing for it. I figure that if I can loosely organize a handful of interesting concepts, that surely the game will sort of naturally spring up around them. It'll all work itself out. Game development is much more of a fuzzy magic than anything scientific or logical, really.
427. Wow, das ist Baba. Die Reference. Sehr geil. Oder was heißt Reference? Das ist halt schlau gespielt, ich sag ehrlich. Sequels all gut. Portal 2, Half-Life 2, Batman, bla 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 2. Oha. Dark Souls 2. The Prequel to the Stanley Parable. The Prequel. Ich kann nicht lesen. Sorry. This way to the show floor. Okay. New features. Let's. New content. Lass mich da rein, hä? Rück im Bus. Expo Hall 2. Alles 2. Wow. Ey, das sieht voll geil aus.
Here we are. Go on, try out some of the new features.
Sorry, Digga, aber ganz kurz, sieht voll geil aus, wenn ich so ein Museum geben würde. Über Stanley. Digga, das sieht voll krass aus. Es gibt Merch. Das Stanley Parable 2 Resurrence Bucket per. No screenshots, please. Das Stanley Parable Beruhigungseimer. Bürodekoration, unendliches Loch. Ah. What the fuck? Das ist irgendwie geil, aber irgendwie kam dieser Typ. It's creeping the shit out of me. Ich glaube, das ist trotzdem Stanley. What the fuck? Dieses Spiel gibt mir immer so ein, das gibt mir ein krasses, aber auch mulmiges Gefühl. Free New Plus Easy Achievement. Get it here. Ja klar, Digga. New Features, New Content, New Ideas. Hier gibt's viel zu viel. Safe. The button that says the name of the player that is playing the game. Sorry, Digga, hier gibt's viel zu viel.
An epilogue would be fun, wouldn't it, Stanley? Yes, yes, it will go at the end of the, well, we'll figure that out later.
Es gibt hier viel zu viele Sachen. Die safe alles irgendwie hier ist so, wenn ich in eine falsche Sachen reingehe. Einstellung Weltmeister, unendliches Loch, Graz Erfolg. The Jump Circle.
I actually think the jump circle was a pretty good idea. I'd like to hang on to that for the sequel.
Stark. Ich bin gerade, keine Ahnung wie viele Mal, ich hab's nicht gesehen, ein paar Mal gesprungen auf jeden Fall, über 20 Mal. Ja, das ist alles hier so. Es ist halt auch weird, weil hier alles so leer ist. Würden hier NPCs rumlaufen, als ein neues Feature. Boah, das wäre krass. No joke, das wäre krass. Hear your name in the game.
For the Stanley Parable 2, I asked myself, what do players
Genau
really
deswegen
want?
wollte ich in keinen
And of
großen Raum
course,
oder so.
the first and most
Weil ich
obvious
denke, hier
answer
kommt gleich
is
ein
that they want
Ending
to
und dann
be
muss ich hier nochmal
individually
hinlaufen.
recognized
Egal.
and validated
Macht
as
das Spiel schlau.
So with that in mind, my first addition to the game is this button which speaks the name of the person playing the game. Isn't that wonderful?
Yeah, yeah, it's wonderful. Digga, einfach weiß. Einfach nichts anderes als weiß. Too small, just right, too big. Aha. Okay, die Türen wackeln zumindest wieder. Boah. Sorry, Leute. Ich muss ehrlich ein bisschen mehr trinken. Ich hole meinen Hals. Ist hier schneller ausgetrocknet als sonst was.
Sorry, I should have clarified. Right now, the button only says the name Jim. But of course, in the final game, this button will say your name, whatever name that is. Here,
Wow.
let's have you roleplay as Jim to really simulate the full experience of this feature.
Ich bin
Just
jetzt Jim,
play
Leute.
along. I promise you'll love it.
Ich muss kurz die Tür
here we
aufmachen.
go. Let's take a deep breath, clear your mind, forget whoever you are, and simply become a person named Jim. I want you to imagine yourself living as Jim, sleeping and waking as Jim, falling in love and being heartbroken as Jim, seizing all of the world's possibilities as Jim, and as Jim watching your dreams crumble into dust. Do you feel it deeply? Are you really, truly Jim right now? If so, then please step forward and press the button.
Stark, mein Bruder ist gerade nach Hause gekommen.
Jim.
Jim.
Yes, you see, what a thrill, what a rush.
So funny, oh mein Gott. Ich bin jetzt ein Jim.
Described you. Do it again, do it again.
Mein Name ist Jim. Kurz. Ach. Speichern. Okay. Wow, 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 wow. So.
Jim.
It
Jim.
hits even harder the second. If this were the only new feature in the Stanley Parable 2,
Was
it would
da?
still be worth the money.
Nein.
Let's take a break from the Jim button. I'm too emotionally drained from all of this personal validation.
Jim.
Whoa there, cowboy. Sometimes a person can be too much Jim. I'm putting the Jim button away.
Jim.
Otherwise, soon you'll start to lose all
Jim.
sense of who
Jim.
you actually
Jim.
are.
Jim. Jim. Spaß, Leute. Spaß. Nein, okay. Ich will Jim sein. Warum darf ich nicht mehr Jim sein? Okay, das war der Jim-Knopf. Der Name-Button, der meinen Namen sagt. Auf ganz entspannt. Ganz entspannten Hasen.
I suppose I could allow only people named Jim to play the Stanley Parable 2. That would actually save me the work of finishing this feature.
Ist doch voll dumm, Digga. Da war ich schon. Please, no Screenshots. Okay, Screenshots machen schnell. Spaß, warte. Ich habe gerade einen Screenshot gemacht auf Steam. Ich würde es cool finden, würde das Game das erkennen, weil man da ja keine Screenshots machen soll. Würde das Game es erkennen, dass man Screenshots macht, dann, Digga, das wäre krass. Also dann, das wäre Baba. Oder ist das cursed hier? Wo sind wir jetzt reingegangen? Ich hab's vergessen. Nochmal nachschauen. Wir gehen jetzt zum Beruhigungseimer. Lasst uns den Beruhigungseimer anschauen.
A common complaint of the Stanley Parable was that it was confusing and paradoxical, that it engendered a chaotic sense of reckless despair in
Das war
those
doch
who played it. Well,
das Sinn vom
I'm
Spielen.
happy to say that after much consideration, I've engineered a clever solution to this fundamental problem with the game. It's the Stanley Parable Reassurance Bucket. You see,
Reassurance
Stanley,
Bucket.
anytime you're holding the bucket, a sense of calm and ease will fill your mind and your heart. It's true. As long as you hold on to the bucket, the many disorienting contradictions of the Stanley Parable will feel perfectly normal and perhaps even comforting. You may even come to
Gib mir den Eimer,
long
gib mir den Eimer,
for
gib mir den
the embrace
Eimer.
of jarring cognitive dissonance while the bucket is in your arms. And to be honest, it's a much more convenient solution for me than actually redesigning the game to be less uncomfortable. Can you imagine what a pain in the ass that would be? Yes, the bucket is the perfect solution. Come on, give it a try.
Ja, Mann, gib mir diesen Eimer. Oh, ich hab den Eimer in der Hand.
Can you feel it? The glow of
Keine Ahnung,
comfort,
Bruder, ich hab halt
even in
einen
the
freaking
face
Eimer in der
of
Hand. Ich muss
crushing
kurz meine Tür
despair,
zumachen.
must already be
Ich lese
sweeping
mit.
through your
Ich hör
body.
zu.
And in fact, can I say that I do believe the bucket lends you an air of charisma as well? I think that just holding it has made you the slightest bit more attractive as a person. The benefits of the bucket seem to go on, don't they? All this and more await you in the Stanley Parable 2.
Einfach ein Eimer erwarte mich in Stanley Parable 2. Ich habe jetzt einen Eimer, ich laufe jetzt mit dem rum, damit ich mich beruhigt fühle. Ja, ja, ja.
Does anyone give out awards for most enjoyable bucket in a video game? That really... Okay, I'll be honest, I haven't yet decided on this one. I think that
Wow.
in the new version, the office could use a bit of decoration, like balloons. But I'm undecided on
ja.
Get Well Someday and Happy 12th Birthday. Which would you go with?
Get well someday. Happy 12th birthday. Step. Nicey. Was? Ja, get well someday.
You know, sometimes when you solicit another person's opinion, it makes you realize that you knew which one you actually really wanted all
Ja,
along.
ich hab's mir
Happy
gedacht,
12th
Bruder.
birthday, stepniece, it is.
Ah. Stepnies. Stiefnichte. War klar. Safe hätte ich Ding genommen. Das wäre das andere gekommen. Oder die hätten einfach akzeptiert und hätten das auch gemacht. Oh.
Or actually, maybe I should have gone with... No. No, I've made my decision, we're moving on.
Digga, ich verbrauche hier Speicher, weil ich irgendwelche Screenshots mache, die nicht weiterhelfen in dem Game. Okay, da... Wo waren wir noch nicht? Wie bin ich hierher gekommen? Ah, ich weiß wie. Da ist Exit. In Infinite Hole. It won't end. Ich will da halt nicht reinspringen, ne? Weil es wahrscheinlich ein Ende ist. Dann muss ich hier wieder hin. Aber ich muss da nicht alles andere machen. Opening, Rim, Depth, Infinity, Surrounding, Area. Bababam, babam, bababam, babam, bababam. Holo Entrance, Infinity. Oh, ein Black Hole. Science. Die falling more. It just keeps going. Oh.
Stanley, here's
Da
an
ist
idea
es.
that I'm truly fond of. It's never been done before in a video game. This is in fact a
Safe
hole
nicht.
that you can fall down forever. That's right. Infinite falling. You can fall until the end of time if you like. A stunning leap forward for
Infinite
video
hole.
games as a medium.
Hier ist auch abgesperrt. Ja, Schmutz, Digga. Ich kann halt auch nicht springen. Ich will da nicht rein. Oder will ich da rein? Noch nicht. Lass mal erstmal wieder raus. Also sofern das möglich ist, ne? Bei dem Game weiß man ja nie. Dann einfach später nochmal hierher kommen. Hier sind überall Türen. Ich komme doch safe überall irgendwo hier hin. So safe. Ich schaue mir die anderen Sachen alle an. Und dann gehe ich ins Neverending Hole. Und nicht ins Exit. Das Achievement ist halt auch sass. Ich sag's euch ehrlich. Free achievement. Get yours right now. Pull the lever. Receive your new achievement. No more steps. It just works. Get yours right now. Ja. Ja. Boah, vielleicht. Wo war ich noch nicht? Wie komme ich da hoch? Weil darum ist ein Sign. That's new. Ich komme da nicht hoch. Ah, da komme ich hoch. Ich war, glaube ich, schon überall außer da hinten, ne? Weil da war ich auch. Das war das mit dem Epilog. Epilog. Spaß. Ah, hier oben war ich nicht. Hier oben. Einstellungen, Weltmeister. Hallo. Wo kann ich da nicht rein? Oh Mann. Man kann gar nichts erkunden in diesem Spiel. Was sollen die Kacke? Ja, dann gehen wir mal zur schönsten Statue von Stanley, würde ich sagen. Euch. Can you find them? Oh. Collect them all.
Ah, collectibles. Now it's a real video game. In the Stanley Parable 2, you'll run around gathering up these miniature Stanley figurines. And what's truly innovative is that there will be no reward for collecting all of them. I don't want to stifle the intrinsic joy of watching a number go up. You simply collect all of them, and then you move the hell on with your unremarkable life.
Ja, lass mal schauen, was passieren wird. What the fuck? What the fuck? Ich habe meinen Beruhigungseimer. Ich bin richtig chill. Wo bin ich gelandet? What the
God, it really is the worst when you collect everything in a video game and then they give you a big fancy reward for it. Absolutely tragic.
Ich bin confused. Ich bin einfach nur confused. Dieses Spiel. Confused so einfach nur. Okay, auf geht's. Wir holen uns das Free Achievement. Boah. So, baumäßig, let's go. Ich bin sehr gespannt, was es
Now
kommt.
here's something special. You remember that broken test achievement that got left in the game on accident? Well, I'm developing a technology to simply give you the achievement. Yes, you see, you'll come to this lever and when you pull it, the achievement will be given to you. It's as simple as that.
Ich sollte hier, glaube ich, noch nicht lange gehen. Lass erstmal das Achievement auf normal holen. Test.
Okay, perhaps I should have clarified. This is technology that will exist. Right now, the achievement is still fully broken. I'm not a wizard, Stan, but I guarantee it will be fixed in the sequel to at last satisfy the hordes of ravenous fans all over the world who have been uproariously demanding this feature. Gamers, we hear you, and I promise it will happen.
Ich kriege mein Achievement nicht. Was soll denn das? Hallo, ich will mein Achievement haben. Hallo? Was soll das? Walla, Gott los, Walla. Aber ich könnte da nach hinten lang. Lass mal da hingehen, komm. Fuck it. Da, okay, da ist doch nichts. Ich muss wieder was trinken. Also meine Kehle ist trocken als Sack. Boah. Ja, ich hab's zur Zeit auch, glaube ich, ein bisschen mit dem Mandeln. Was habe ich noch nicht gesehen? Ich habe alles gesehen, glaube ich. Jump Circle, das Map, Free Achievement, der Button, das heißt, ja, Merge, ja, Settings World Champion, ja, Separable Resource, ja, Office Decoration, ja, Epilog, ja, Collectibles, ja, Infinite Hole, ja. Stimmt, wir wollten ins Infinite Hole gehen, gell? Da lass doch mal reinspringen, würde ich sagen. Oder gibt's noch einen Dialog, wenn ich vor den Merge laufe und da irgendwas rumklick? Da ist ein QR-Code. Leute, ein QR-Code, den ich sehe, den ich finde, wird gescannt. Willkommen auf the Stanley Parable 2.com. Welcome to the official website. Wait, wir machen das kurz so. Kurz meinen besten Kollegen seinen Discord ausnutzen, damit ich diesen Link kurz am PC öffnen kann. Da bist du. Tag. So. So, dann schauen wir uns mal zusammen an, was auf diesem Link steht. Chat und OBS. So. The Stanley Parable 2, a sequel, huh? Watch our helpful and informative video to learn more about the Stanley Parable and what the journey of becoming a sequel is all about. Direct YouTube link. Well, that's new. If you're more of a prequel sort of person, check out the Stanley Parable. For stopping by, enjoy the rest of the exhibit. Cross. Dann lass mal reinschauen, oder? 10 Minuten?
Say there, Timmy. What's that you're enjoying? But the story is likely to make very directly into local lakes, one which the child soldiers have been working round the clock to come up with an answer to. And after many weeks of diligent research, the conclusion they've reached is, who gives a shit? All that matters is that it's more content for you to cram down.
Okay, das ist actually fucking funny. Ich schaue das komplette Video jetzt aber nicht. Oh, ups, ich wollte nichts ändern. Haha, Babo-mäßig, mir schaut kein Schwanz zu, aber kann mir scheißegal sein. Jalla, es geht weiter, Digga. Let's go. Wir wollten ins schwarze Loch. Wir gehen ins schwarze Loch. Jalla. Ich habe leider kein Free Achievement bekommen. Ich muss sagen, wack. Muss ich schon ehrlich zugeben, ist wack. Was gibt's hier? Ah, da bin ich vorhin rausgekommen, genau. Ich bin gespannt, was passiert, wenn wir da reinfallen, weil es gibt entweder wird der Erzähler sagen, ja Mann, du bist voll dumm, warum springst du da rein? Oder wird halt so gar nichts sagen, keine Ahnung, lass jetzt.
You see, isn't it wonderful? One of my more ingenious concoctions, if I do say so. Now then, since you've gotten to see the infinite hole, you can press the teleport button to pop back up to the top, and we can continue onward.
Mit G komme ich wieder zurück.
Now, I don't mean to be a bummer, but I do recommend you use the teleport button to go back to the top. Maybe do it on the sooner rather than later spectrum of things.
Wir werden jetzt schön lange hier drin bleiben und schauen, was passiert. Weil ich hab Bock zu sehen,
Okay,
was
Stanley,
passiert.
I don't know quite how to say this tactfully, but it's possible that I slightly exaggerated the infinite nature of the hole. Is it a very, very deep hole? To be certain it is. It's an extremely deep hole. I don't want anyone to say that it isn't an astonishingly deep hole. It is. Is it infinite? Well, that sort of depends on your definition of infinity. From one perspective, the infinite is merely philosophical in nature. It's more of a... Okay, well, Good for you. You found the bottom of the hole. You found me out, Stanley. I'm a liar and a cheat, and you're so clever. Look, I think the issue here is just that you're unusually fascinated by falling. What normal person actually wants to fall infinitely? I figured the hole was as deep as anyone would actually need. Don't you put this on me. Maybe you're the problem.
Warum ist Stanley eigentlich nicht tot?
Look, things got a little heated there. I think we both said some things we didn't mean. Why don't we just put all this behind us and agree to just call the hole mostly infinite?
Ja.
If that works for you, then go ahead and press the teleport button to warp up to the top of the hole and we can move on. I'll just be up here when you're ready.
Wir werden uns nicht hochtippen. Wir wollen diesen Typen schön abfacken, okay? Wir wollen den richtige abfacken. Ich warte jetzt, bis ich wieder eine Antwort bekomme. Schauen wir mal. Schauen wir mal, was uns da so gesagt wird. Oder ob uns irgendwas gesagt wird. Hier liegen freaking Kippenstümmel. Stark. Ein Glas mit New Mug. Kaum was da drauf steht. Kaum was da drauf steht. Und kein Plan. Every pause button is a Roman numeral 2. True. Na. Erkenne ich nicht. Könnt ihr vergessen. Mein Fuß juckt. Beziehungsweise mein Knöchel. Ob der Dude nochmal kommen wird, um irgendwas zu sagen, ich weiß es nicht. Wir sind jetzt seit einer Minute hier unten. Ja, ich glaube, man kann sich wieder hochtippen.
Great. Now, I'm very excited to show you even more of my ideas for the sequel.
Okay, wir haben alles gesehen. Wir können raus und weitermachen. War sehr interessant, war sehr cool. Dieses Infinite Hole hat mich sehr... Ich will nochmal reinspringen. Es wird safe irgendwas gesagt, wenn ich nochmal reinspringe. Dieses Spiel ist sich einfach nur rumexperimentieren. Was kann ich machen, was soll man machen, was kann man nicht machen.
Oh, for heaven. You see, I was right. The problem is you. The problem is that you like holes too much. Not normal. A normal person would have said, yep, that's an infinite hole right there. Goes on forever till the end of time. Don't need to see it all, but not you. Oh, no, 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 no. You have a weird sort of... Oh. Did the hole seem even shorter to you this time?
Ja,
I
ist
couldn't
es...
help but feel like you spent a little less time in there than you did before. I mean, admittedly, I didn't make an infinite hole, but I didn't think it was that not infinite. Well, I suppose once again there's nothing to do here. If you decide you've had enough of the hole, you can hit the teleport button and come join me up above. Had enough? I'm positively thrilled. I really do have so much more to show you and to talk about, and I've had enough of the hole for a lifetime.
Schön. Wir gehen nochmal rein.
Gosh, how could I have guessed? You're back in the hole. If this starts to become a thing where... Wow.
Noch kürzer.
Okay.
Es wird immer kürzer und kürzer, bis da
I'm
gar kein
starting to
Loch mehr
become
ist.
extremely certain that the hole is not only not infinite, but that it's growing steadily less and less infinite. I suspect that I'm starting to hit the point where it's no longer feasible to call the hole infinitely deep, even by the lax overall standards for accountability and marketing. What's going on here? Stanley, I have no explanation for the uncertain nature of the hole's length.
Okay.
Let's try something. Let's pop back up to the top, and we'll see if it gets any shorter.
Ja.
Well, there it is.
Oha,
Shame of my-
wer hätte
How
gedacht?
is this still appealing to you? I know you're obsessed with holes, but at this depth, I just can't see this scratching the itch. Oh, who am I to judge? You just do whatever it is you're here to do and hit the
Richtig.
teleport button when you're ready to move on. Is the, teleport button not working?
Ja.
Sure.
Oh, sorry,
I
Digga.
mean, I really don't have an explanation. It was working just a moment ago. Try it again. Still nothing? Well, I suppose there is one thing I can do to fix this. I'm out.
Ich weiß nicht, ob man meine
Goodbye, Stanley.
Tastatur hört
You
oder
couldn't
nicht.
bear to be away from the hole, and now you'll
Aber
get
ich
more
drücke
time with
G,
it than you
spamme.
could ever have
Jemand
asked
sieht meine
for.
Hand.
It's a win for
So mäßig
everyone.
bisschen
You
in
get to
Decke.
be with the hole. I get to do literally anything else. Take care, Stanley. I
Tschüss.
hope you and the hole have a wonderful rest of eternity together.
Wir wurden einfach allein gelassen. What the fuck? What the fuck is happening? Das Loch sinkt. Oder? Na. Doch. Oh mein Gott. Tschüss, du komischer Knecht, Digga. Keiner braucht dich. Ich bin sehr gespannt, was passiert. Ich bin sehr, sehr gespannt, was passiert. Aber die Mucke kommt schon sehr böse. Hä? Oh mein Gott, Stanley. Stanley. Mein süßer kleiner Fratz.
My head's stronger. Now you're no longer.
Das ist Baba. Wir lassen das laufen. Ich will mir das später falsch rum, also anders anhören. Wir sind Roboter. What the fuck? Wir sind auf dem Kopf.
Stanley? Stanley? Stanley! Oh, good, you're awake. It seems you had sort of dozed off there, drifting away into dreamland. But we can't have that, Stanley, because this hole is just so darn fascinating that I want you to be wide awake for every second of it. You don't want to miss a single moment. So how about if I just pop in from time to time and wake you up to keep you really, truly focused on the hole? From the looks of things, you and I will have many, many years here in this hole, and I'm looking forward to all of them. Stay alert, Stanley. I'll be back. Toodlepip.
Digga, was war das gerade eigentlich für ein Fiebertraum, der jetzt wieder anfängt? Oder auch nicht? Dankeschön. Wirklich. Vielen Dank. Ich bin jetzt wieder hier.
Here we are. Go on. try out some of the new features.
Ich wurde einfach wieder zum Anfang gebracht. Digga, also dieses Loch war ehrlich cursed. Dann würde ich sagen, raus hier. Oder? Oder nochmal ins Loch. Theoretisch, das Spiel erinnert sich ja daran, was ich tue. Wenn ich jetzt nochmal ins Loch gehe, nervt es den Erzähler dann wieder? Das eine... Ah, nee, ich darf nicht ins Loch. Dankeschön, wirklich. Vielen Dank. Ja, dann habe ich hier nichts mehr zu suchen, ne? Ja. Raus hier. Bruder, aber das im Loch war, ey, ich cursed. Shit, ich habe mich kurz ein bisschen eingeschissen. So auf Ernst, kurz eingeschissen. Ba, 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 ba. Okay. Okay,
All right,
let's go.
have you seen everything you wanted to?
Mhm.
Ready to move on now?
Auf jeden. Ich kann nicht weiter hoch. Schade, ich hätte gern gesehen, was da abgeht. No Screenshots, no Screenshot. Screenshot.
So, Stanley, what do you think?
Noch ein
Do you
schwarzes
like
Loch.
all of the new features? Yes, I know it's not exactly clear yet how exactly these features will come together as one single coherent video game, but I can feel it in my soul. It's going to work. There's definitely a good game in there somewhere. Say, let's do an experiment. I'll arrange these new features together and we'll see whether or not it coheres into a meaningful gameplay experience.
Sounds good, bro.
Okay. Are you ready?
I'm
Here
ready.
it is. I give you the Stanley Parable 2.
Ist ein Baba-Game.
Well, I mean, there's potential here, right? It's sort of...
Yeah.
Okay, never mind. Hold on. Let me do a different arrangement. Okay, yes, this is much better. I feel good about this. Here we go. Version 2.
Ja, Mann.
Who am I
Ja,
kidding,
Mann.
Stanley?
2
This
Löcher.
isn't a coherent video
Die
game at
nicht
all. It's a
unendlich
lot
ist.
of gags. And I do very much enjoy creating gags, but they don't add up to anything. I wanted more than anything to create a sequel
Warum war das
that
Jump?
would capture all the
Der
magic
Jump
of
Circle
the
in
first game.
dem
I
unendlichen
wanted
Loch.
fans to love it. No matter how good these gags are, they won't stand on their own. They would need the structure and the gameplay of the original. Wait, maybe that's it. I can take the original Stanley Parable and simply, well, insert a few of my new features into it. Tastefully, of course. With respect. With care for the vision and integrity of the
Wow.
original game. Would it possibly work?
Ja, Mann.
I suppose it could. But it would need a really, really tremendous title screen.
Ja, Mann.
A title screen that says with bold and uncompromising conviction,
Da
this
sitze ich.
is the Stanley Parable 2. Let me see if I can whip something up. All right, perfect. Go ahead. Take a look.
Okay. I'm gonna take a look. Digga, was geht mit diesem Spiel? Soll ich das Spiel eigentlich ein bisschen lauter machen? Das war für mich sehr laut. Wie sieht es im OBS aus? Auch etwas sehr laut. Ich glaube aber so auf 80, 75. Ich glaube, so sollte das passen, oder? Eigentlich. 70 ist gut. 65 ist gut. Yalla. Dann spielen wir das Stanley Parable 2 jetzt einfach. I guess. Scheiß mal auf Ultra Deluxe.
This is the story of a man named Stanley. All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo. Stanley went around touching every little thing in the office, but it didn't make a single difference. Nor, no matter how hard Stanley looked, he couldn't find a trace of his co-workers.
Digga, ich bin einfach confused.
Stanley picked up the bucket.
Warum ist hier eine Barriere? Ja, egal. Die Türen gehen auch nicht auf. Da ist ein PC an, ich will den ausmachen.
Stanley clutched the bucket tightly to his chest and entered the door on his left.
So, oh, wisst ihr, was das Schlimme ist? Wir haben halt hier wieder 2 Entscheidungen, ne? Das heißt, ich kann jetzt einen normalen Weg gehen, aber um zu schauen, was passiert, wenn ich rechts gehe, muss ich das Ganze dann nochmal machen. Egal. Jalla. Ich habe meinen Baba-Beruhigungseimer. Alles ist entspannt.
Still no one was here. Stanley needed the bucket's warmth and comfort now more than ever. Perhaps his boss's office was where he'd find answers. Oh, Stanley, can you feel it? The broom closet. It wants the bucket. You can feel that, can't you? The aura of jealousy? It's as clear as day. This broom closet believes it deserves the bucket. I can really feel it now. It's a bucket.
Warum kann ich nicht springen?
Broom closet. That's what the broom
Ach, stimmt,
closet
weil
is
es nur
trying
einen
to say
Kreis
here.
gibt zum
It's
Springen.
supposed to go with the other cleaning supplies. Good for you, Stanley. Don't give in. Don't hand over the bucket. I know how hard it must be, given the pressure that the broom closet is putting on your shoulders right now, but you have to be strong. This is your bucket. This is your companion and lifelong friend. You can't hand it over. Oh, no. We're getting into name-calling now, it seems. Is this how low the broom closet has sunk, that it has to resort to this stream of petty insults simply in order to get you to hand over the bucket?
Es geht um einen scheiß
I never
Abstellraum.
liked this broom closet for a variety of reasons, but even this is worse than I had imagined. And wait, now the broom closet has the gall to imply that you and the bucket are not truly deep and lasting friends? That your relationship is purely superficial and convenient? That your life is so banal and meaningless that you'd feel the same sort of kinship towards any inanimate object which happened to lay in your path in an even partially enticing manner? Well, I never. Go on, Stanley. Lay into it. Really tell the broom closet off for its demeaning comments. Expand on the wide variety of experiences you and the bucket have shared together. Go through each of them point by point. Share your journal entries detailing the rich emotional landscape of your feelings for the
Bro,
bucket as they
wie
have
sehr
changed and evolved
willst du dich
over
noch
the
über
years.
diesen Raum
Let him
aufregen?
have it.
Fertig?
Okay, I've got you something which I think will help settle this debate once and for all.
Ist okay.
Here we go. There. Now it's settled. No more debate, no more discussion. Take a hike, broom closet, with all your meandering philosophical diatribes about
Ist
the
mein
nature of cleaning
Eimer.
supplies and their relationship to broom
Reicht,
closets in the
halt dein
natural
Maul.
order of things. Coming to a staircase, Stanley and the bucket walked upstairs to the boss's office. You found one of them. One of the miniature Stanley figurines. Remember, no reward for collecting all of these. only the intrinsic pleasure of a job well done. You can't buy that sort of happiness, Stanley. God knows I've tried. So, I implore you to savor each and every moment you come across one of these beautiful figurines.
Baumäßig.
Stepping into his manager's office, Stanley was once again stunned to discover not an indication of any human life. Crushed by the weight of this revelation, Stanley may have broken down into an emotional dumpster fire if not for the soothing presence of the bucket. Even now, in his darkest of hours, did the bucket's warmth and guiding light pierce the dark clouds of confusion and chaos. It would be with him always.
Ja, normal.
The bucket would. And he knew it.
Die.
The two of them were inseparable. At this point, Stanley was so absorbed in the tender spiritual connection he shared with the bucket that he didn't notice the keypad behind the boss's desk. Nor in his bliss of simply being near the bucket did he have any notion that the PIN number for the keypad was 2845. But Stanley guessed the correct code by sheer luck. Was it that the bucket knew all along? Was the bucket guiding him? Yes, this is certainly the most logical explanation.
Safe. Aber dicke Ohr.
Another miniature Stanley figurine. This, you know, there really must be a snappier name for these things. What about mini-stands?
Wow.
Stanley figs? What about Stanlerines? Yes,
Nee.
I think I like that. Another Stanlerine under your belt.
Ich finde Mini-Stands besser. Ich muss ehrlich sagen, ich finde Mini-Stands besser. Loading.
The elevator raced downward, plummeting towards an unknown fate. It would be all Stanley could do to keep himself together, if not for the bucket. Soothing him, comforting him, reassuring that in this darkest moment of uncertainty, he would be all right. The bucket is here for you, Stanley. Everything will be fine. Stanley and the bucket walked straight ahead through the large door that read, Mind Control Facility.
I got the bucket. Mir kann nichts passieren.
The lights rose on an enormous room packed with television screens. What
ist so
horrible
fucking-
secret did this
Also
place
sorry,
hold?
Digga, ganz kurz.
Stanley and the bucket both wondered to themselves.
Digga, dieses Spiel macht dich irre. Macht mich irre.
The monitors jumped to life.
Also es ist trotzdem
and Stanley
Baba Game,
nearly dropped
so
the
ist
bucket in shock. Everyone in the office was being
Aber das ist-
videotaped, monitored like guinea pigs.
Das ist
Bucket
Kopfgeficke
had
alles
never
hier.
seen anything like this, and it very nearly burst into tears as Stanley cradled it gently, reassuring it that everything would be fine.
Everything is gonna be fine.
Was
Property
the
of Stanley.
bucket under the mind control facility's influence as well? Had the bucket been told to do things it didn't wish to
Es
do?
geht nur noch um
What
diesen
kinds of
Dreckseimer. What the
things
fuck?
does a bucket want to do or not want to do in the first place? These questions raced furiously in Stanley's feeble mind.
Digga, ich bin so confused.
No! He screamed into the bucket. He couldn't accept it. His own life in someone else's control. Never! He squeezed the bucket tighter. His one friend in the entire world. At this point, he could trust no one except for the bucket.
Ja, Mann. Ich kann nur noch diesem Eimer vertrauen.
But here was the proof. The heart of the operation. Controls labeled with emotions. Happy, or sad, or content. Walking, eating, working, all of it monitored and commanded from this very place. And as the cold reality of his past began to sink in, Stanley decided that this machinery would never again exert its terrible power over another human life. for he and the bucket would dismantle the controls for good. Two best friends, Stanley and the bucket, up against the world.
Ja, Mann.
They high-fived in a really cool way, and the bucket made a sassy comment about taking down the system.
Wir haben das Spiel zum zweiten Mal durchgespielt.
Stanley and the bucket waited in
Zusammen mit
blackness.
einem Eimer.
Was it over?
Ich bin verwirrt.
Yes, they had done it. Stanley and the bucket had defeated their greatest and darkest enemy, freed themselves from the tyrannical grip of the evil mind control machine. Freedom was now mere moments away. Excitedly, the two of them began to discuss the kind of life they wanted to live once they stepped through this massive door. The bucket wanted to learn to roller skate. Stanley wanted to sneeze in every country on Earth. Both of them wanted to begin watching a movie, any movie, but then stop it halfway through and begin watching it in reverse from the end. True, it was a simple life they envisioned, but it was one they'd lived together, with one another to lean on, to trust, to support, and... What? Wait. What was happening? Why
Dankeschön.
had the door stopped? Was Stanley and the bucket not about to be freed? An unbearable silence filled the room, lingering in uncertainty. Until finally the truth hit Stanley square in the face. This building did not want the bucket to leave. The
Digga.
facility itself recognized the incredible calming presence of the bucket, needed the soothing warmth of the bucket, would go to any lengths not to part with the bucket.
Warum ist dieser Eimer so heftig?
Stanley can't leave this place. Not while he has such a precious bucket in his arms. Not while this building has anything to say about it. Stanley realized he would never again leave this very room. But
Geil.
at least he has the bucket. To be trapped eternally in darkness isn't really so bad, Stanley thought to himself. As long as I have my bucket with me, right? I'll be okay, won't I? Stanley gulped. Very soon now, he was about to find out.
Wieso bin ich schon wieder hier? Digga, dieses Spiel, ich
All
krieg
of
die
this
Schose.
control, please. Are you really just doing this for the achievement? Click a door 5 times. Is that all that you think an achievement is worth? No. I can't just give the... Stanley lifted the bucket into his arms, and a wave of comfort rushed over him.
What the fuck? Gibt es mehrere von den PCs, wo ich so Input-Dingsen kann? Ist hier einer? Nee, kannst du mal deine Maul halten? Ich bin immer noch in der Stanley Parable 2, ne? Das müsst ihr, dürfen wir nicht vergessen.
Stanley clutched the bucket
Ja,
tightly
halt's
to
Maul.
his chest. This was not the correct way to the meeting room, but Stanley had felt the bucket calling to him, telling him that the employee lounge was simply the place to be.
Okay, anscheinend, wenn wir irgendwas anders machen, heißt es, wir hören auf den Eimer.
And here it was. Had the bucket turned out to be correct? Was this better than the meeting room? Yes, Stanley thought to himself. Yes, perhaps it truly was. How insightful the bucket turned out to be. Truly, being here with the bucket was a grand adventure. Stanley reflected on all they'd been through together. First, walking through the door on the right. Then walking to the lounge. Then arriving at the lounge. What a thrilling journey the bucket had
schön.
inspired.
Okay, gehen wir weiter.
No, never mind. The bucket was wrong. Stanley took the door on his left to go back to the meeting room. No, said the bucket. Don't go to the meeting room. Go somewhere else. The cargo lift, yes. Go there. Go to the cargo lift. Good, said the bucket. Now ride the lift all the way to the top. There's something up there I need you to do. Stanley did not question why or how this bucket was speaking to him. It should have alarmed him, of course, because buckets can't talk. But Stanley chose not to think about this obvious fact. He was firmly convinced that the bucket had spoken to him, and he unthinkingly did whatever the bucket asked.
Ja, Mann. Es wird sehr interessant zu sehen, was der Bucket mir zu zeigen
In
hat.
here, said the bucket. Go into this dark room over here. Stanley once again obeyed blindly.
Ich soll in diesen Dark Room gehen. Tamam, let's die.
Now pick up the phone, said the bucket.
Ich werde gerade erblindet, no joke.
This is the sad story of a man named Stanley and his bucket. Once upon a time, I gave Stanley a bucket because I thought he was lonely and could use a friend. And then, very distressingly, he began to believe the bucket could speak to him.
What the fuck? Null. Hä? Ich habe die Uhrzeit doch eingestellt. Warum wird die jetzt... Ach, Schmutz. Hallo Sandy, ich bin es, dein Eimer. Drück V, um mich zur Arbeit mitzunehmen.
The Stanley Parable Reassurance Bucket was merely meant to provide the comforting glow of companionship. It doesn't literally talk and give you orders. Whatever Stanley is hearing the bucket say to him is just in his head.
Fertig, das war mein Arbeitstag. Hinkommen, Eimer nehmen, nach Hause gehen.
Lately, I've been concerned about him. Wouldn't you be concerned as well? To see him delusional like this, obsessing over an inanimate metal object? I want to say something to him, but I don't know how I can convince him. I don't know if he'll listen to me.
Ganz kurz, Stanley schiebt gerade Psychose in dem Game. Was ging bei dem Entwickler ab? Nichts gegen den Entwickler, ne? Er macht ein Baba-Game, aber...
Oh, I'll try anyway. Stanley, can you hear me? Listen to me. It's just a bucket. It can't think, it can't talk. All it will ever truly do for you is effectively transfer a liquid from one location to a different location. That's it. It doesn't do anything else.
Hör nicht auf den lauten Mann. Drück M, damit wir wieder nach Hause kommen. Ich lass mich vom Eimer kontrollieren.
He's not listening. He's still taking orders from the bucket. You know, once upon a time it was me he took orders from. Me he trusted and listened to. Now all he cares about is his awful bucket. This stupid hunk of metal.
Ich werde jetzt für immer mit diesem Eimer zusammenleben.
It's sad. I suppose he doesn't need me anymore. From now on, he's just going to cling to this bucket, this cold, empty bucket, this sort of shiny bucket. Well, I'll give it this. The bucket does have a nice shine to it.
For real. Du hältst mich für real oder Stanley? Was? Du hältst mich für real oder was? Hä? Ja, hä? Egal. Kommasetzung verwirrt mich.
Yes, I suppose
Aber
on
war
closer
richtig.
inspection,
Ich
it
bin einfach nur
doesn't
dumm.
quite look like your average hardware store bucket. It's just a little more, trying to say, sturdier, more capable of transporting liquid. Like it would be better at moving an amount of water from one room to another.
Denselben Tag mit mir wieder und wieder zu wiederholen. Zu erleben.
Oh my God, what am I saying? better at carrying water from room to room. It's a bucket. It's literally just a bucket. Why do I feel some need to point out the ways in which it's so much more than just a regular
Digga,
bucket?
ganz kurz, es geht legit um einen Eimer. Irgendein Typ, der labert und ich Stanley. Und dieses Spiel nehme ich viel zu sehr mit. Drücke L, um nach Hause und zur Arbeit und nach Hause und zur Arbeit und nach Hause zu gehen.
Oh no. I'm having feelings for the bucket. No, 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 no. What's going on? Why do I want to be with the bucket?
Digga, was ist
Hear
hier?
what the bucket has to say. Do anything it asks. What's wrong with me? I don't understand. Perhaps if I had the bucket, this would be less confusing.
Bro.
Yes. The bucket could tell me what to do in this troublesome situation.
Digga, der Leser tut jetzt auch auf den... Oh.
Stanley, give me the bucket. Give it to me. Give me the bucket, Stanley. I need it. Give it to me now. Give it or I'll...
Digga, dieses... Geh zurück zur Arbeit, Stanley. Wir sind immer noch in der Stanley Parable 2. Ich muss pissen. Ich bin gleich wieder back. So, ja, ich muss kurz was checken. Ah. Okay, das war kurz zur Beruhigung. Wir müssen kurz recappen. Ich habe gerade ein Leben mit einem Eimer geführt in einem Game. Und das hat mich viel zu sehr mitgenommen. Das hat mich viel zu sehr mitgenommen. Also legit, ich bin das Ding, also das hat mich gekillt. Ich bin so confused. Ich habe so ein mulmiges Gefühl in mir. Ich muss mehr Salzbrezel essen. Ja. Weiter
All of
geht's.
his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo. The confusion and the chaos all seemed to melt away as Stanley embraced the bucket. Stanley clutched the bucket
Das war wieder
tightly to
recht.
his chest. This was not the correct way to the meeting room, but Stanley had felt the bucket calling to him, telling him that the employee lounge was simply the place to be. And here it was. Had the bucket turned out to be correct? No, never mind. The bucket was wrong. Stanley took the door on his left to go back to the meeting. And
Diesmal
so
gehen
the
wir hier
two
nach
of them
links.
detoured through the maintenance section and walked straight ahead to the opposite door.
Und hier runter.
Oh, good Stanley. I'm glad you found your way here. I knew you'd find this place eventually. You see, your friends and I are concerned for you, Stanley. We've come together here because we care about you very much. It's this bucket you're carrying around everywhere. The bucket isn't even from the original Stanley Parable. It's just sequel content. We're the ones that matter, Stanley. Classic characters from the first game, like the Adventure Line and the Broom Closet. Because that's what fans want from a sequel. They want more of their favorite jokes, not this bucket that they've never seen before. Yes, I know I'm the one who gave you the bucket, but you're spending too much time with it. Don't you want another story involving the Adventure Line? We could make the Adventure Line go somewhere new. Yes, yes, that's what the fans want. Let's do it.
Ich bin einfach nur confused, Digga. Dieses Baby hat mich auch so erschrocken. What the actual? Digga. Ah, guess das dem Weg mal folgen.
Whee! Look at that wacky line. Who knows where it'll go off to next? Oh, and it played some silly music as well.
Was für eine Bauermusik?
Now this is what the Stanley Parable is all about. Don't you remember all those great jokes from the original dialogue?
Also, Stanley is addicted to drugs and hookers.
Yes, it's as classic now as it was back then. Let's do it for the fans, Stanley. Let's give them more content exactly like this. But if we want to do that, you're going to have to give something up.
Also, ganz kurz, damit ihr ein bisschen mehr Kontext habt. Weil es kommt wahrscheinlich sehr random. Ich werde auch versuchen, den Playthrough nochmal zu machen. Aber dieses Baby, was da war, ich habe ja das Game angetestet und habe halt direkt irgendeine Scheiße gebaut, ne? Und da habe ich das halt so weit getrieben mäßig, dass der Entwickler, beziehungsweise der Erzähler halt, also ein Husky aus Stanley, also mich eher, aber Stanley geschoben hat. Und sagt, hey, ist das Spiel so scheiße, weil ich an einen Ort gekommen bin, wo halt diese orangenen Game Developer Blick und so sind. Da war da ein Spiel von einem Kleinkind, das halt in Richtung Feuer geht, also dieses Baby so Richtung Feuer. Und man muss auf Knopf drücken. Ich habe halt nicht auf den Knopf gedrückt. In diesem Ding ist auch ganz viel anderes passiert, aber der hat halt Stanley komplett beleidigt und hat halt der so Drug Addict und so Shit. Also Stanley im Game so. Und das war halt übel funny auch. Und deswegen hat er das gerade erwähnt. Und deswegen bin ich auch wieder hier in einem Raum von Game Developern Blöcke, weil alle, die schon mal ein Game gemacht haben oder sich zumindest Videos oder so ähnlich dazu angesehen haben, sollten diese Texturen sehr gut kennen. Nein, ich habe noch kein Game gemacht, leider. Ich muss noch dran arbeiten, Leute. Ich muss lernen. Aber ich finde, die Motivation die ist einfach noch nicht da. Sag ich euch offen und ehrlich. Ich hoffe, ich weiß schon, was da hinten ist. Ich könnte es mir vorstellen.
Don't you get it, Stanley? We need to get rid of the bucket. That's why I'm very proud to introduce a brand new character. This is the Bucket Destroyer. I think it'll make a wonderful new addition to the rich lore of the Stanley Parable. True, it also was not in the original game, but it's such a well-fleshed-out character with so much personality that to me it already feels as though it's been part of the cast all along. Don't you agree? Can you guess what the Bucket Destroyer does? Surely you don't need me to spell it out for you.
Oh
Go
mein
ahead
Gott.
now, Stanley. Say goodbye to the bucket, and then pop it into the machine when you're ready.
Ah, wir müssen anscheinend Ciao sagen zu einem Bucket.
Now listen to me. It's crucial that you give it the bucket. I don't know what the Bucket Destroyer will do if it can't destroy your bucket. Destroying buckets is all it knows. That is its singular personality trait. Sure, I can hear you saying, how does a character with only one personality trait deserve to join the pantheon of beloved
Wir zerstören den
Stanley
Eimer
Parable
nicht.
characters?
Wir wollen zusammen mit dem Eimer bleiben.
Oh,
scheiße, ich bin ein bisschen überstolpert gewesen, sorry.
To crush buckets is so densely loaded with complexity and
Tut mir
nuance
leid.
that it's really like 10 personality traits. What other object in this game can you even say that about? The broom closet? Certainly not. I wonder what sort of Bucket Destroyer merchandise the fans will be clamoring for after this. Okay, the Bucket Destroyer is getting very upset now. You'll have to hurry and feed it. We can't get back to the classic Stanley Parable characters like the Adventure Line or the Bucket Destroyer until you crush that damn bucket. Quickly now, the fans are waiting. Do it, the fans, Stanley. Give the fans what they want.
Ich fick
Hurry
auf
and
die Fans. Ich sollte nicht mitsingen.
My prized creation. You had so much potential. We were going to do such marvelous things with you, tell such spellbinding stories about you. All of it squandered now. Goodbye, new friend. For the moment in time that you were here, you were magnificent.
Ja, Stanley kann zufrieden sein, solange er seinen Eimer noch hat. Ich habe ihm seinen Eimer gerettet. Mhm. Weil ich korrekt bin.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo. Warmth spread through Stanley's arms. With the bucket in his arms again, he was home.
Ich wusste, es ist irgendwas anders. Wir haben keine doppelte Tür mehr. Ah, doch hier. Hä? What the fuck?
Stanley clutched the bucket tightly to his chest and entered the door on his left.
Irgendwer hat hier keine Ahnung was geschoben. Weil er sagt, dass die Figuren Hm. Das merken, weil das sind die wir noch brauchen. Oh, gotta catch 'em all. Irgendjemand denkt, diese Figuren haben, also man kriegt irgendwas dafür. Ist hier eine Figur drin? Nee.
All right, I've got a second sticker back here, and I'm going to slap it on as well because I think it's appropriate. You see, I feel that it works because the sticker is also a bucket. That way, if you're ever unsure whether the thing you're holding is a bucket or not, you can look down at this sticker and say to yourself, ah, it's a bucket. There really is a wide variety of applications for this sticker.
Okay.
You know what? Coming to a staircase, Stanley and the bucket walked upstairs to the boss's
Ich
office.
hätte warten sollen, er wollte gerade noch was sagen. Lass mal runtergehen. Scheiß mal auf hoch.
Okay, I'm going back to the name of these little Stanley figurines, and now I'm torn between Stanlerines and Figlies. What do you think, Stanley?
Aua.
What name better encapsulates the intrinsic sense of happiness that you get from seeing a small number in the corner of your screen go up by 1? Let me sit on it. I'm sure it will come to me. But Stanley just couldn't do it. He considered the possibility of facing his boss, admitting he had left his post during work hours. He might be fired for it. And in such a competitive economy, why had he taken that risk? All because he believed everyone had vanished? His boss would think he was crazy. And then, something occurred to Stanley. Maybe, he thought to himself, maybe I am crazy. He looked down at the bucket in his arms. Am I crazy? He asked the bucket. The bucket returned his gaze, but said nothing at all. That's strange, Stanley thought. Usually the bucket is a source of guidance and wisdom for me in difficult times such as these. He held the bucket close, yet felt none of its familiar reassurance and comfort. And that's when Stanley realized, this isn't my bucket. It's just a normal, everyday bucket. Someone else's bucket, perhaps. How did I end up with someone else's bucket? This is all terribly wrong. Surely no good would come from this. Who knows what sorts of bizarre hallucinations Stanley might experience without the psychologically grounding presence of his bucket. And indeed, now he noticed that the rooms were repeating, which was, of course, very odd. Now he felt himself floating off the ground. Oh, gracious.
Ah, ich bin am
he
Fliegen.
exclaimed.
Geil.
Without my bucket, I've gone truly mad.
Geil.
Where is it? I must find it. Far off in the distance now, he heard it, calling to him. Stanley! Stanley, it's me!
Wo ist
the
mein Eimer?
bucket." Could it
Wo ist
truly
mein Eimer?
He rushed forward from room to room, passing by one bucket
überall
after the
Eimer.
next. None of them were his. None of them were his special bucket. Come to me,
Ja, was ist das für eine,
Stanley.
also eine Joke, was ist das für eine Psychose, Digga?
He had to find the bucket. He had to return to his old friend. It was the only way to truly restore his sanity. And then suddenly, he froze dead in his tracks. He knew where the voice of the bucket had been coming from. The real bucket was inside of him all along. It was incredibly painful. Stanley doubled over in agony and blacked out.
Bro, ich hab fucking Eimer in mir drin gehabt.
This is the story of a woman named Mariella.
Mariella.
Mariella woke up on a day like any other.
Nee, ganz
She
kurz.
rose, got
Das Ding
dressed,
ist, ich
picked
kann auch
up
kaum
her bucket of
Commentary geben,
comfort
Digga,
and
bei dem, was hier
security
alles
and walked to
abgeht.
her place of work. But on this particular day, her walk was interrupted by the body of a man who had stumbled through town, talking and screaming to himself, and then collapsed dead on the sidewalk. Right away, she knew what the problem was. This man had no bucket. Of course, he'd gone mad, ranting and raving about a
Digga,
narrator
es geht
describing
nur-
all of his actions
also
and how
Stanley
everything is
Parable 2 geht
predetermined
anscheinend
and
nur noch
free will is an illusion
den
and it's
Eimer,
all just a
weil-
video game. It could all have been prevented if only he'd taken his bucket with him.
Weil das ist das Ding.
Perhaps he didn't even
Ähm,
realize he'd forgotten his bucket at
Dieses
home in the
Ending
first
gibt's
place.
halt in normalen Stanley auch.
And she hugged her
Kann ich mich
own
noch erinnern von
bucket
damals,
tighter.
als ich den
Of
ersten Teil
course, she
gespielt
had
habe.
no time for this.
Und jetzt in Parable 2 ist einfach dasselbe, aber mit Eimer.
She would soon have to confront at work.
for which her bucket would provide absolute guidance and total clarity on everything. Heck yes, she thought to herself. My life kicks ass. And she backflipped all the way to work. A soft wind blew outside and perhaps rain started, and if it did, it stopped shortly after. Stanley hoped that he would one day see weather. Stanley picked up the bucket and smiled. He'd never be alone again, not truly alone, not with the bucket around.
Wo ist der PC, wo ich die Eingabe machen muss?
Oh, please. Are you really just doing this for the achievement? Click a door 5 times. Is that all that you think an achievement is worth? No.
Ich frage mich, ob ich das Achievement für das Stanley Parable 2 mäßig nochmal kriege.
Clicks. Now suppose you were to click the door 20 times. I would say that's the kind of effort that warrants recognition. I have to say, I'm still not feeling the satisfaction of witnessing true effort for a noble cause. Perhaps 50 clicks will do it. Yes, almost certainly 50 clicks.
Mein Finger klebt nicht gescheit.
No, I'm still not feeling it. You see, now that you've gotten the bucket involved, my standards have gone up. Merely clicking a single door is no longer enough. Now, I want to see you press this bucket against multiple doors. Now, that's the kind of thing that merits an achievement. Why don't you put 20 bucket touches into door 417?
Okay.
Okay, great. Now, go touch the bucket on door 437 a few times.
Okay.
Yes, now we're getting somewhere. How about door 415? Give it some bucket love. Now back to door number 437.
Ich frage mich, ob wir noch einen Sticker da drauf kriegen.
You know, I think the copy machine needs some attention. All right, back to room 417. I'm really feeling it now. I think we're getting somewhere. Okay, now bring the bucket on top of employee 419's desk. Yes, this is great. Now the bucket knows exactly what it's like to be employee 419. Now, let's introduce it to door 416.
Bruder.
We've almost got it. Now make the bucket and the copy machine touch again.
Ich muss ein paar Türen und den Drucker.
Finish it off, Stanley. 5 touches of the bucket on door. Yes, we did it. Wow. That felt amazing. You know, not all buckets will get this kind of experience. They won't all know what it's like to slam repeatedly against nearly every door in one section of an office building, or what it's like to be employee 419. Buckets may dream of an experience like this, but few can say they've truly lived it. You've given a bucket hope today. Stanley, I'm very proud of you.
Ich habe kein neues Achievement bekommen. Egal, leck. Gehen wir einfach weiter. Ah, wieder eine normale Tür.
Stanley clutched the bucket tightly to his chest and entered the door on his left.
Mhm. Alle, die wir sammeln, werden hier durchgestrichen. Voll geil. Ein großer Raum mit vielen Boxen. Und irgendwas von blau und rotes.
Stanley, we must move on from this broom closet, simply because I have no remaining stickers. If
Aw.
I did, you can guarantee we'd be in here for hours. But alas, no stickers.
Oh Mann. Wack.
Coming to a staircase, Stanley and the bucket walked upstairs to the boss's office. Stepping into his manager's office, Stanley was once again stunned to discover not an indication of any human life. Crushed by the weight of this, but Stanley guessed the correct code by sheer luck. Was it that the bucket knew all along? Was the bucket guiding him? Yes, this is certainly the most logical explanation. Stanley and the bucket walked straight ahead through the large door
Und
that read,
Escape.
Mind Control Facility.
Also,
Although this passageway had the word
Im
escape
ersten Gang war hier einfach ein
the
Loch,
truth was that
wo
at
man
the
runtergefallen
end of
ist und hat man
this
halt mich
hole, Stanley and the bucket
verloren.
would both meet a violent death.
Deswegen laufen wir jetzt hier
The
einfach
door
lang.
behind them was not shut. Stanley and the bucket still had every opportunity to turn around and get back on track. At this point, Stanley and the bucket were knowingly walking forward into a very painful death for each of them.
Yalla. Der Endless Hole. Hä? Seit wann? Okay. Wir haben mal wieder was Neues.
As the
Ich bin sehr
machine
gespannt.
whirred into motion and Stanley and the bucket inched closer to their
Und wir werden
demise,
zusammengequetscht.
Stanley reflected on how meaningless the bucket's warmth and comfort had turned out to be. To be sure, it puts the mind and the soul at ease to embrace the bucket. But what use is a sense of ease when you're about to be crushed to death? This is what Stanley thought to himself, and he sort of kicked himself for wasting so much time carrying a bucket everywhere. Farewell, Stanley.
Tschüss, sayonara.
Farewell, Stanley, cried the narrator, as Stanley and the bucket were led helplessly into the enormous metal jaws. In a single visceral instant, the bucket's life came to an end, as it was crushed violently to death.
Bro, erstens, warum hat da gerade eine Frau plötzlich erzählt? Sonst, ich bin am Leben. Hä? Es ist so ruhig. Es ist zu
It
ruhig.
was a shame, the death of such a magnificent bucket. It's true that all buckets are radiant in their own way, but this one stood above the rest. It was a glorious bucket to behold.
What the fuck? Der Eimer. Heißt willkommen zur großen Ausstellung. Sie stehen am Abgrund des Wissens. Ähnlich wie ein Eimer ist auch der menschliche Verstand oft leer. Eine höhlenartige Leere. Aber durch die Absorption des Ausstellungsstücks vor ihnen wird der Geist voll bereichert und fundiert. Die Kenntnis über den Eimer und seine Geschichte und das einzig wahre Wissen, das wir wirklich haben. Werden Sie das, was Sie hier lernen, mit in die Welt hinausnehmen? Werden Sie aufgeschlossen akzeptieren, was an den Informationen in dieser Ausstellung herausfordernd sein mag? Werden Sie das Leben von sich selbst und Ihren Liebsten als Folge dieser Ausstellung ändern? Oder werden Sie die Augen verschließen und weiterleben wie bisher, in Unwissenheit und Dunkelheit? Bro, what the fuck?
Can you see how arrogant it was for Stanley to take a bucket like this and to claim it for his own? Can you see the
25
hubris
Eimer.
that blinded him?